The next morning, Rayan woke up with a smile. He couldn't help it. Last night's confession hung in the air between him and Ethan, a sweet melody that echoed in his heart. As he got ready for his day, he couldn't stop thinking about how perfect last night had been. Ethan, the cutest, most hardworking chef in the world. The word boyfriend still felt alien on his tongue, but the idea of it warmed him from the inside out. Later that afternoon, after a morning of classes and a lunch spent replaying last night's events in his head, Rayan made his way back to the bakery. He had a surprise planned for Aiden, something small, but it was all he could think of in his excited state. Walking into the familiar space, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and sweet pastries enveloping him, Rayan spotted Aiden behind the counter. Flour dusted his hair, a smudge of chocolate on his cheek, and his eyes held a focus that was captivating. Even after all this time, Rayan still got lost in those pools of brown whenever he saw them. "Hey, you look tired," Rayan said softly, stepping closer. Aiden startled, turning around with a sheepish grin. "Oh, you scared me. I didn't hear you come in. Sorry," Rayan chuckled, handing over a small bag. "What's this?" Aiden asked, his eyebrows furrowing in confusion as he took the bag. "It's nothing much," Rayan said, his cheeks flushing slightly. "Just some extra pastries from that bakery you like. I thought maybe you could use them for some of your new recipes." He tried to play it cool, but his heart pounded in his chest. Would Aiden like his surprise? Was it good enough? Aiden looked at the pastries in his hands, then back at Rayan. His eyes, usually filled with warmth and humor, were now shining with tears. "Rayan, he started, his voice cracking. Before Rayan could say a word, Aiden dropped the pastries, his hands covering his face as tears streamed down. "Oh, my God, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to. He stammered, guilt and sadness evident in his tone. "Aiden, what's wrong?" Rayan rushed to his side, his own tears pricking at his eyes. He gently touched Aiden's shoulder, asking, "Please tell me what's going on." Slowly, Aiden lowered his hands, revealing a face streaked with tears and flour. Looking up at Rayan, he whispered, "I can't do this, Rayan. I can't keep seeing you." The words hit Rayan like a punch to the gut. Confusion clouded his features as he asked, "Do what? What are you talking about?" Aiden took a shaky breath, his gaze dropping to the floor. The bakery," he murmured, his voice barely audible. Rayan felt a chill creep up his spine. His heart, which had been soaring moments ago, suddenly plummeted to his stomach. He reached out to touch Aiden again, but this time Aiden flinched, moving away from his touch. "Aiden, please," Rayan pleaded, his voice cracking. "Please let me help you. Please let me help us." Aiden shook his head, his eyes brimming with tears. "No, Rayan, you don't understand. I can't lose myself over you. I have to leave." As those words left his lips, Aiden spun around, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Unable to bear the sight of Aiden's pain, Rayan reached out and wrapped his arms around him, pulling him close. "Let me help you. Let me help us," he whispered, hoping to ease Aiden's pain. Aiden stiffened momentarily, then slowly relaxed into Rayan's embrace, letting the tears flow freely. Rayan held him tight, feeling the trembling of Aiden's body against his, willing him to speak, to tell him what was wrong. After what felt like an eternity, Aiden pulled away, his face buried in Rayan's shoulder. When he finally looked up, his eyes were filled with pain and regret. "I'm sorry, Rayan," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "I'm so sorry. I can't stay. I have to go." With that, he turned and ran out the door, leaving Rayan standing there with a heart full of sorrow and confusion. As days turned into weeks, Rayan couldn't shake off the haunting memory of Aiden's tearful goodbye. He visited the bakery hoping to find answers, but each time he did, it was empty, devoid of Aiden's comforting presence. Trying to move on, Rayan threw himself into his studies, but books and lectures blurred together without meaning. His grades, once a source of pride, suffered. He was adrift, lost without Aiden's guiding light. One rainy afternoon, unable to bear the loneliness any longer, Rayan decided to take matters into his own hands. Armed with an umbrella and determination, he headed back to the bakery. As he pushed open the door, the familiar scent of pastries enveloped him, bringing back a flood of memories. But there was no sign of Aiden. Disappointment threatened to engulf Rayan, but he refused to give up. He looked around, searching for clues, and his eyes fell upon a crumpled piece of paper behind the counter. Carefully unfolding it, he found a neatly written note. Dear Rayan, if you're reading this, it means I've gone. I know this will hurt you, but I had to do it for myself. I'm so sorry. Always remember that you are amazing and you deserve someone who can give you everything you want. I hope you find happiness, Rayan. With love, Aiden. Tears welled up in Rayan's eyes as he read those words. He felt the full weight of Aiden's absence crashing down on him. The bakery, once a place of joy and love, now echoed with emptiness. Rayan sank to the floor, leaning against the counter, and cried. He cried for the lost love, for the shattered dreams, and for the pain of a goodbye that neither of them truly understood. As the rain poured outside, mirroring the storm in his heart, Rayan stayed in the bakery, surrounded by the remnants of their love story. The thought of Aiden slipping away from him, not by choice but by circumstance, tore at his soul. He wanted to chase after him, to ask questions, to beg for another chance, but fear held him back. Fear of rejection, fear of losing Aiden forever. When the sky finally cleared and the sun peeked through the clouds, Rayan emerged from the bakery, his face stained with tears and his heart heavy with grief. As he walked away, he cast one last glance at the bakery. It seemed strangely quiet, as if Aiden's absence had drained it of its life force. The sight fueled Rayan's determination to find him, to bring him back, to make him understand that their story wasn't over. He would find Aiden, even if it meant searching the entire city. The coming days were a blur for Rayan. He scoured every nook and cranny of the city, desperate to find Aiden, but he was like a ghost, leaving no trace of his whereabouts. Friends and family worried about Rayan's obsessive search, urging him to rest, to eat, to live a normal life. But nothing could pull him out of his dark tunnel. All he could think about was Aiden, his adorable smile, his gentle touch, his comforting laugh. Then, when Rayan was about to lose all hope, a breakthrough came. One evening, while going through old text messages, Rayan stumbled upon a message from a mutual friend who had a crush on Aiden. Mustering the last of his strength, he dialed the number. It was a long shot, but he had to try. On the other end of the line was a woman named Ella, her voice laced with concern as she inquired about Aiden. Rayan explained his situation, hoping for a miracle, and it seemed like one was at hand. Ella agreed to help, saying she knew where Aiden might be. With renewed vigor, Rayan set off, determined to find Aiden and bring him home.